Welcome back. I'm Poppy Harlow in New York, and with Michael Cohen's guilty plea, new details about the National Enquirer's relationship with the Trump campaign have come to light. Cohen admits that he worked with American Media Company. That's a huge media conglomerate. They own the National Enquirer, and he worked with them for a sole purpose. The purpose was to bury stories that made then candidate Trump look bad, okay? That could have hurt him in winning the presidential election. Well, we've now learned that this so-called catch-and-kill strategy was conjured up just after then-candidate Trump entered the race all the way back in 2015. Brian Stelter is with me. He is our senior media correspondent, host of Reliable Sources. This is your reporting. Walk us through how extensively we now know Michael Cohen worked with AMI to bury this stuff.
Yeah, we've heard about catch and kill for several months now, but it had all been based on media reports. Now, for the first time, Michael Cohen, in his own words, is admitting to this behavior. That's part of the guilty plea. There's, of course, so much detail in these government court filings. And some of the detail does involve this media company that was acting more like a political advocacy group than a newsroom. Now, look, the National Enquirer, everyone knows the National Enquirer. It's a supermarket tabloid.
Sure.
But it does employ journalists. It does report real news sometimes, along with a lot of spin and a lot of gossip. And it's incredible to think that behind the scenes, the Enquirer was hearing about bad news for Trump and then burying it with the help of Michael Cohen. This was a partnership behind the scenes where the Enquirer was weaponized to help Trump and to hurt his enemies.
What about David Pecker, the guy at the helm of all of this? Okay, it appears now from the Wall Street Journal reporting that he's really cooperating extensively with prosecutors.
Yes, that's the new development that I think makes you wonder about the friendship between Trump and Pecker. Pecker's been a CEO for a long time of this supermarket tabloid company. According to the Journal, he provided prosecutors with details about the payments Cohen arranged with women who alleged sexual encounters with Trump, including Trump's knowledge of the deals. So that means that when Pecker was subpoenaed earlier this year, he cooperated and he handed over apparently a lot of information to prosecutors. That would indicate that's one of the reasons why the government was able to get Cohen to plead guilty, because the government had a lot of evidence.
We know that the president loves, I think is a fair word, really loves the National Enquirer. Let's just jog people's memory about what he said about the Enquirer over the years.
The National Enquirer did a story. They actually have a very good record of being right.
I've always said, why didn't the National Enquirer get the Pulitzer Prize for Edwards and O.J. Simpson and all of these things?
I mean, you can't knock the National Enquirer. It's brought many things to light, not all of them pleasant.
Yes, that's true.
And that was true, especially about Trump's enemies and opponents. The Enquirer would publish unflattering stories about them during the campaign.
Also just flatly untrue things. Remember Ted Cruz's father, et
exactly. But this Pecker-Trump friendship,
right.
In the past, Trump has said, hey, Pecker should run Time magazine. Pecker's a great guy. There's all these tweets in Trump's past about his friend David Pecker. They're Palm Beach buddies. But now that we know that Pecker cooperated in this case against Cohen, it makes you wonder, is Trump going to speak out? Is he going to turn against Pecker?
Let me ask you this, because I know one other new development from Michael Cohen's information is that there could be more people within the Trump campaign that were involved in squashing these stories.
And this is still the mystery. This is the part we don't know. The court filings say that Cohen and Pecker worked with one or more members of the Trump campaign in this partnership to keep bad news out of the news. So we don't know how many of those campaign members were involved and who they were. That is an unknown. But we do know this started just 2 months after Trump's campaign started. According to the government, this collaboration started in August 2015. And it makes you think, when Trump's bashing the so-called fake news, when he's attacking real journalists, think about his record here. He had a media company essentially in his pocket helping him during the campaign. He seems to have an interesting relationship with this particular source of news.
Right, thinking, well, I did it then, why can't I do it now?
Right.
You can't. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks.